Gavin Newsom is continuing his feud with Elon Musk after threatening to sue the ex-CEO over use of deep fake election content that he claims hurt democracy. But Musk is clapping back to the governor, accusing Newsom of making parody illegal after the governor signed 3 proposals cracking down on the use of AI in videos, but also in political ads. Now, this all comes after Newsom publicly called out Musk for sharing a post featuring altered images of Vice President Kamala Harris. The California governor is speaking out, and while he denied that he's stopping parodies, he did have a few strong words for Musk. Listen.
Mr. Musk has missed the punchline. Parody is still alive and well in California, but deep fakes and manipulation of elections, that hurts democracy and the integrity of the system and trust. And we believe in truth and trust, and we think this law is sound and will be upheld in the courts.
Joining me now to discuss Stanford Hoover Institution Senior Fellow, the brilliant Victor Davis Hanson.
Thank you.
Victor, thank you so much for joining us here on this Friday afternoon on American Agenda. Your reaction to this back and forth. Do you think Governor Newsom is overstepping, and why?
Yeah, I think that's a poor choice of words, deep fake. Remember, that recalls what Corinne Jean-Pierre said when people on the other side of the aisle legitimately said Joe Biden was non compos mentis, and everybody said he's fit as a fiddle, including Gavin Newsom. And they said anybody who questioned that orthodoxy was engaging in deep fakes. So it's got, that word has a bad currency. What's in the larger context, you see, Gavin Newsom is very upset because of the way that Kamala Harris was nominated. And he even voiced that disgust in a way at the convention when he said, "This is what I'm supposed to say," that it was okay not to have an open convention. And here in California, suddenly he's addressing homelessness problems. He's got road crews out picking up trash on our filthy highways. He's down in the LA drainage picking up garbage, and he's trying to prep the battlefield for him to be the leading Democratic oppositional leader should Kamala Harris lose. He's kind of bitter about that. And one of the things he resents deeply is Elon Musk and people around him making fun of Gavin Newsom. And a lot of people, if you look at his popularity, it's nosedived in the last 6 months. So he's trying to create a persona that he is a centrist, reliable, traditional Democrat, and he's going to run for president, and he's trying to do everything he can to reverse what he's done in the state. And you can see it happening, and part of that agenda is to silence critics and get everybody on the Newsom team.
Victor, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but everything you're saying, if it seems like if you just put the name Kamala Harris, substitute that in for Gavin Newsom, I'm seeing that play out right now. Do you think Newsom has any path forward? And I don't know. Do you think it'll work for him? And I wonder if it'll work for Kamala Harris.
It depends, because they both realize that, at least in her case, for the next 45 days, they have agendas that nobody wants. So in her case, we know that on the election day, the day after, if she loses, she will revert back to her true hard left self for the remaining 3 months of her tenure. And if she wins, she will still be left-wing and revert back to her left-wing self to govern. And he's the same way. He understands now that this state is caricatured. He didn't do well in the DeSantis debate. His popularity is going down, and he understands. He just vetoed a reparations, or tried to stop it before it came to his desk. He's vetoed some crazy legislation, so he's trying to reform his image as a centrist, and it's the same thing as Harris. They have these agendas and trajectories that nobody wants, so they have to emulate conservatives at least to get elected. But I think people are onto them now, and they don't believe it. That's why people are very angry at him.
It's very
and
interesting.
His popularity. I mean, he's very slick, like Harris. Young, vibrant.
Yeah.
But there's nothing there. There's no there.
Makes me think back to Slick Willie. But I want to turn to this, Victor. Both sides, Democrats, Republicans, they're calling for the other side to tone down the rhetoric, a phrase we've heard a lot recently after the second assassination attempt on the former president's life. But all that has really happened in the first few days following the incident on the golf course is more of that rhetoric. Listen.
I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is, his demagoguery, his danger to our country.
If Donald Trump wants Kamala Harris and others to stop saying that he is a threat to democracy, then he should stop threatening democracy.
It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one.
There is more support for violence today against Trump and others. Against Trump, 10% of American adults think it's okay. And 26 million American adults who support violence to prevent Trump from regaining the presidency. More than 30,000 of those own guns, and almost 80% have access to internet organizational tools. That's despicable.
Well, we have to elevate our rhetoric.
Victor, we have very little time left, but I want to get your thoughts on that. Rhetoric, has it been toned down? Does it need to be toned down? What happens next?
It needs to be, but I mean, her campaign manager, Mr. Floof, David Floof, he said just a few years ago that Donald Trump should be destroyed. Dan Goldman said in Congress that Donald Trump has to be eliminated. So it's much worse than he's a threat to democracy. They're engaging in eliminationist rhetoric, and they know where it leads. And believe me, if there had been 2 assassination attempts, heaven forbid, on Biden or Obama, we would have a very different discussion right now. Nobody would dare, and they shouldn't dare, engage in that type of language. The right doesn't do it as much as the left. They'd say both sides-ism, but it's not that case.
All right, we really appreciate your insight. Victor Davis Hanson, I hope you come back and join us on American Agenda soon. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.